budget for 25-26.
মাননীয় স্পিকার,
This budget
আমি
continues our government's efforts to
25-26 বাজেট পেশ
A,
করতে চলেছি।
accelerate growth, B, secure
আমাদের
inclusive
লক্ষ্য
development,
বৃদ্ধি হার বাড়ানো,
invigorate private sector investments, D, uplift household sentiments, and E,
Private
enhance
investment
spending
বাড়ানো
power of India's rising middle class.
এবং মধ্যবিত্তদের দিকে আমরা নজর দেব।
We embark on a journey to unlock our nation's tremendous potential for
আমাদের
greater
অর্থনীতির
prosperity
যে বিপুল
and
সম্ভাবনা,
positioning under the leadership
সেটাকে
of Honorable Prime
কাজে
Minister
লাগাতে হবে।
Shri Narendra Modi. As we complete the first quarter of the 21st century, continuing geopolitical headwinds suggest lower global economic
একবিংশ
growth
শতাব্দীর
over
প্রথম
the medium term.
কোয়ার্টার
However,
পার করেছি।
our aspiration for a Vikasit Bharat inspires us.
নানা
And the
রকম
transformative
অনিশ্চয়তা
work
রয়েছে
we have
আন্তর্জাতিক
done
বাজারে,
during our government's first
কিন্তু
2
তা
terms
সত্ত্বেও
guides us to march
আমরা
forward resolutely.
অর্থনীতির ক্ষেত্রে অনেকটাই এগোতে পেরেছি।
Our economy is the fastest growing among all major
আমাদের
economies.
অর্থনীতি সব থেকে দ্রুত গতিতে
For the past 10 years,
বৃদ্ধি পাওয়া ইকোনমি
structural reforms have drawn global attention.
এবং
Confidence in
আমাদের
India's capability
সংস্কার,
and potential
অর্থনৈতিক
has only grown
সংস্কার
in this period.
সারা পৃথিবীর
We see the next 5 years
দৃষ্টি আকর্ষণ
as a
করেছে।
unique opportunity to realize Sabka Vikas, stimulating balanced growth of all
আমরা
regions.
ব্যালেন্সড
Great
গ্রোথ
Telugu poet and playwright
তার প্রতি নজর রাখছি।
Rao had said, "Deshamante matti kadoy, deshamante manushuloy," meaning a country is not just its soil, a country
আমাদের
is
দেশ
its people.
শুধুমাত্র মাটি
In
নয়,
line with this,
আমাদের দেশ
for us,
মানুষ।
Vikasit Bharat encompasses zero poverty,
আমরা
100% quality good
শূন্য
school education,
দারিদ্র
access to high
এবং
quality,
100%
affordable and comprehensive
বৃদ্ধি
healthcare,
চাইছি।
100% skilled labor with meaningful employment, 70% women in economic activities,
এবং
and farmers
70%
making our country the food basket
মহিলা
of the world.
যাতে অর্থনীতিতে অংশ নেন
In this budget,
তার চেষ্টা
the
করছি।
proposed development measures span 10 broad areas,
আমরা
focusing on
10টা
Garib, youth, Annadata and Nari.
10 দিকে
Spurring
নজর
agricultural
রাখছি।
growth and productivity, building rural prosperity and resilience,
আমরা
taking everyone together
গ্রামের
on an
দিকে,
inclusive growth path,
গ্রামীণ অর্থনীতির
boosting
দিকে নজর
manufacturing
রাখছি।
and furthering making
একই
in
সঙ্গে
India, supporting
ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং এর দিকে নজর রাখবো
enabling employment-led development, investing
এবং
in people,
সবথেকে
economy and innovation,
দরকারি
securing
কর্মসংস্থান যাতে
energy
তৈরি হয়
supplies,
তার প্রতি নজর রাখবো।
promoting exports and nurturing innovation.
এনার্জির
For this
যোগানের
journey
দিকে
of
নজর
development,
রাখবো।
our four powerful engines are agriculture, MSME, investments and exports.
আমাদের
The fuel,
সবথেকে
our reforms, our guiding spirit, inclusivity,
শক্তিশালী
and the destination, Vikasit
MSME.
Bharat. This budget aims to initiate transformative reforms across 6 domains. During the first 5 years,
আমরা
these will augment
6টি
our growth
ক্ষেত্রে
potential and global
সংস্কারের কথা ভাবছি।
competitiveness. The domains are taxation, power sector,
Taxation,
urban development,
power sector,
mining,
urban-
financial sector,
urban
and
development,
regulatory reforms.
এবং
Agriculture
রেগুলেটরি
as the
রিফর্মস।
first engine. Now I move to specific proposals, beginning with agriculture as
আমরা
the first
কৃষি
engine.
দিয়ে প্রথম শুরু করছি, এটাই আমাদের প্রথম ইঞ্জিন অফ গ্রোথ।
Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana,
ধনধান্য কৃষি যোজনা
districts program. Motivated by the success of the aspirational district program,
এটা আমাদের
our government will undertake a Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana in partnership with states. Through the convergence of existing schemes and specialized
রাজ্যগুলির সঙ্গে
measures, the program
পার্টনারশিপে
will cover
আমরা এই
100 districts with low
প্রকল্প নিয়েছি।
productivity, moderate crop intensity, and below average credit parameters.
আমাদের যে
It aims to 1. Enhance agricultural productivity, 2.
উৎপাদনশীলতা কৃষিক্ষেত্রে কম,
Adopt crop diversification
সেদিকে আমাদের
and
নজর রাখতে
sustainable
হবে।
agricultural practices,
এবং
Three,
ক্রপ
augment
ডাইভার্সিটি
post-harvest
অর্থাৎ
storage
নানা
at the
রকম
panchayat and
শস্য
block level.
ফলানোর দিকে আমরা
Four,
নজর রাখবো।
improve irrigation facilities. And five,
এবং
facilitate
একই
availability
সঙ্গে
of long-term and short-term credit.
ইরিগেশন সেচ
This program is
সেচের
likely to
প্রতি
help
আমরা নজর রাখবো
1.7
যাতে
crore
সেচ
farmers.
ব্যবস্থা চারদিকে ছড়িয়ে যায়।
Building rural prosperity and resilience. A comprehensive multi-sectoral rural prosperity and resilience program will be launched in partnership with the states. This will address underemployment in agriculture through skilling, investment, technology, and invigorating the rural economy. The goal is to generate ample opportunities in rural areas so that migration is an option but not a necessity.
যাতে করে
The program will focus on rural
migration,
women, young farmers, rural youth, marginal and small
একটা
farmers,
সম্ভাবনা হিসেবে
and
থাকলেও
landless families.
কখনোই
The
একটা
details
পরিবার
are in Annexure
তার
A.
প্রতি বাধ্য হয়ে
Global and best
Migrate
practices
করবে না।
will be incorporated, and appropriate technical and financial assistance will be sought from multilateral development banks. In phase 1,
আমরা এর
100
জন্য
developing agri districts will be covered.
ডেভেলপমেন্ট ব্যাংকদের সাহায্য নেব।
Atmanirbharta in pulses. Our government is
আত্মনির্ভরতা
implementing the national mission for edible oil seed for achieving
এবং
Atmanirbharta in edible
oil.
Our farmers have the capability to grow
অর্থাৎ ভোজ্য
enough
তেল।
for our needs and more. 10 years ago, we made concerted efforts and succeeded in achieving near
10 বছর আগে
self-sufficiency in
আমরা চেষ্টা করেছিলাম
farmers
ডাল
responded to the need
উৎপাদনে
by increasing the
আত্মনির্ভরতা
cultivated area
এবং এখন
by
আমরা
50%,
সেটা
and government arranged for procurement and
সেই
remunerated
দিকে অনেকটা
prices.
এগিয়েছি।
Since then, with rising incomes and better affordability, our consumption of pulses has increased significantly. Our government will now launch a 6-year mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses with a
এখন আমরা
special
6
focus
বছরের একটা প্রকল্প
on
নিচ্ছি
poor,
যাতে
rural and masood.
ডাল
Details
উৎপাদনে
are in Annexure B.
আমরা সম্পূর্ণ
Central
আত্মনির্ভর হতে পারি।
agencies such as NAFED and NCCF will be ready to procure these 3
এবং
pulses as
কেন্দ্রীয়
much as
সংস্থারা
offered during the next 4 years from farmers who register
কৃষকদের কাছ
with these
থেকে
agencies and enter
ডাল
into
উৎপাদন
agreements.
সংগ্রহ করবে।
Comprehensive program for vegetables and fruits. It is encouraging that our people are increasingly becoming aware of their
একই
nutritional
সঙ্গে
needs. It is a sign
শাকসবজি
of a society becoming healthier.
উৎপাদনের
With
দিকে আমরা জোর
rising
দেব।
income levels, the consumption of vegetables, fruits, and Shri Anna is increasing significantly. A comprehensive program to
আমাদের
promote
দেশে
production, efficient supplies,
শাকসবজি এবং
processing,
ফলের
and remunerative prices for farmers
চাহিদা
will be launched in
ক্রমশ বাড়ছে
partnership with the states.
এবং এই ব্যাপারে আমাদের উৎপাদন বাড়াতে
Appropriate
হবে।
institutional mechanisms for implementation and
এর
participation
জন্য
of farmer
উপযুক্ত
producer organizations and
ইনস্টিটিউশন বা
cooperatives will
প্রতিষ্ঠান
be set up.
আমরা তৈরি করব।
Makhana board in Bihar.
বিহারে
For
মাখানা
this,
বোর্ড তৈরি হবে।
there is a special opportunity for the people of Bihar. A Makhana board will be established in the state to improve production, processing, value addition, and marketing of Makhana.
মাখানার
The
জন্য
people
আমরা
engaged in
বিশেষ
these
কিছু
activities will
সুবিধা
be
দেব।
organized into FPOs. The board will provide hand-holding and training
এবং যে বোর্ড
support to
তৈরি হবে
Makhana farmers
তারা
and will also
মাখানা
work to
কৃষকদের
ensure they receive the
সাহায্য
benefits
করবে,
of
নানাভাবে
all
সাহায্য
relevant
করবে।
government schemes. A national mission on high-yielding seeds will be launched, aimed at 1.
উচ্চ
Strengthening research
উৎপাদনশীল
ecosystem,
বীজের ওপর
2.
আমরা জোর
Targeted
দিচ্ছি।
development and propagation of seeds with high yield, pest
যেসব
resistance,
বীজ
and climate resilience.
উচ্চ
And
উৎপাদনশীল
3. Commercial availability
তাদের
of more than
আমরা
100
চারদিকে
seed varieties
তার ব্যবহার
released since
আমরা
July 2024.
বাড়াবো।
India ranks second largest globally in fish production and aquaculture.
মৎস্য
Seafood exports are
উৎপাদনে
valued at
আমরা সারা
60,000
পৃথিবীতে
crore rupees.
দ্বিতীয়
To unlock the untapped potential of the
এবং
marine
এখানে
sector,
আরো
our government
বেশি
will bring in an enabling
সম্ভাবনা
framework
আমাদের
for
দেশে রয়েছে।
sustainable harnessing of fisheries from Indian exclusive economic zone and high seas, with a special focus on the Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep islands. For the benefit of lakhs of cotton growing farmers, I am pleased to announce a mission for cotton productivity. This 5-year mission will facilitate significant improvements in productivity and sustainability of cotton farming and promote extra long staple cotton varieties. The best of science and technology support will be provided to farmers. Aligned with our integrated 5S vision for the textile sector, this will help in increasing incomes of the farmers and ensure a steady supply of quality cotton for rejuvenating India's traditional textile sector. Kisan credit cards facilitate short-term loans for 7.7 crore farmers, fishermen, and dairy farmers. The loan limit under modified interest subvention scheme will be enhanced from 3 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees for loans taken through the KCC.
কেসিসির মাধ্যমে ধার পাবেন
Atmanirbharta in urea production. Our government had reopened 3 dormant urea plants in the eastern region.
আমাদের
To
সরকার
further
তিনটে
augment urea supply,
ইউরিয়া
a
প্ল্যান্ট
plant with annual
খুলেছে
capacity of 12.7 lakh
পূর্ব
metric
ভারতে।
tons will be set up at Namrup in Assam.
আসামে একটা ইউরিয়া প্ল্যান্ট তৈরি হবে।
India Post with 1.5 lakh rural post offices, complemented by the India Post
India
Payment
Post
Bank and a vast network of
Post Payment Bank
2.4 lakh dark sevaks will be repositioned
এবং
to act as a catalyst for the rural economy. Details are at
ইন্ডিয়া
Annexure C.
পোস্ট গ্রামীণ অর্থনীতিকে চাঙ্গা
India
করার
Post
কাজে
will also be
ব্যবহার করা
transformed
হবে।
as a large public logistics organization. This will meet the rising needs of Vishwakarmas, new entrepreneurs, women,
India
self-help
Post-এর
groups,
মাধ্যমে
MSMEs, and the large business organizations.
ব্যবসা
Our government
বাণিজ্য
will provide
বৃদ্ধি
support
পাবে
to
গ্রামের
NCDC
দিকে।
for its lending operations for the cooperative sector. MSMEs as the second
MSME
engine. Now I
আমাদের
move to
দ্বিতীয়
MSMEs
ইঞ্জিন,
as the second
বৃদ্ধির
engine,
দ্বিতীয় ইঞ্জিন।
which encompasses manufacturing and services with a focus on MSMEs numbering 5.7 crores. Currently, over 1 crore registered MSMEs
আমাদের আছে।
employing 7.5 crore people and generating 36% of our
7.5
manufacturing have
কোটি
come together to
মানুষকে এরা
position India as a global
কর্মসংস্থান দেয়।
manufacturing hub.
আমরা এর জন্য এমএসএমইদের জন্য একটা গ্লোবাল ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং হাব তৈরি করব
These
যাতে
MSMEs are
উচ্চ মানের
responsible for 45% of
জিনিস
our
তৈরি হয়
to help
যেটা
them achieve higher
বিদেশে
efficiencies
রপ্তানি
of
করা
scale,
যাবে।
technological upgradation, and better access to capital. The investment and turnover limits for classification of all MSMEs will be enhanced to 2.5 and 2 times respectively. This will give
ফলে
them the
আমরা
confidence
সমস্ত
to grow
MSME কে
and generate employment
উন্নত
for our
করব।
youth. The details are given in Annexure D.
এর ডিটেইলটা অ্যানেক্সড
To
ডিতে
improve
দেওয়া
access
আছে।
to credit, the credit guarantee cover will be enhanced.
ক্রেডিট গ্যারান্টি কভারটা আরো
First,
বাড়ানো হবে।
for micro and small enterprises from 5
প্রথমত
crore to 10
মাইক্রো এবং
crore
স্মল
rupees,
এন্টারপ্রাইজের জন্য
leading to additional credit of 1.5 lakh crores in the next 5 years.
এর ফলে
Second,
1.5 কোটি
For
মানুষ
startups, from
উপকৃত
10
হবেন।
crore rupees to 20 crore rupees, with the guarantee fee being
স্টার্টআপদের
moderated to
জন্য
1%
10
for
কোটি
loans
থেকে
in
20 কোটি
27
বাড়ানো হলো।
focus sectors which are
এবং
important
এটার
for
জন্য
Atmanirbhar Bharat.
27টা ফোকাসড সেক্টর থাকবে
And for well-run exporter MSMEs,
এবং
for
যেসব
term
এমএসএমই
loans up to 20 crore rupees.
রপ্তানি করে
Also
তাদের
for
আমরা
the micro
বিশেষ সুবিধা দেব।
enterprises, we will introduce customized credit cards with a 5 lakh rupee limit
ছোট
for micro
এন্টারপ্রাইজের
enterprises
জন্য
registered on
আমরা
Udyam
ক্রেডিট
portal.
কার্ড তৈরি করব।
In the first year, 10 lakh such cards will be issued. Fund of funds for startups. The alternate investment fund, AIFs, for startups have received commitments of more than 91,000 crores.
91,000 কোটি টাকা
fund of funds set up with the government of India's
support
contribution of
startup-দের দেওয়া হচ্ছে।
10,000 crore rupees. Now, a new fund of funds
একটা
with
নতুন
expanded
fund
scope and
তৈরি
a
হবে।
fresh contribution of another 10,000 crore rupees
আরো
will be set
10,000
up.
কোটি টাকা দিয়ে একটা নতুন ফান্ড তৈরি হবে স্টার্টআপদের জন্য।
A new scheme will be launched for 5 lakh women, scheduled caste
5
and
লক্ষ
scheduled tribes, first-time
মহিলার
entrepreneurs.
জন্য একটা
This
নতুন
will provide
প্রকল্প
term loans
তৈরি হবে।
up to 2 crore rupees during the next 5 years.
এরা 2
The
কোটি
scheme
টাকা
will
অবধি টার্ম লোন
incorporate
পাবেন।
lessons from the successful Stand Up India scheme, online capacity building for entrepreneurship and managerial skills will also be organized.
এবং এদের
Measures for labor-intensive sectors to promote employment and entrepreneurship opportunities in labor-intensive
কর্মসংস্থান বাড়ানোর
sectors.
জন্য
Our
যে
government will
শ্রমনির্ভর
undertake
যে
specific
ক্ষেত্রগুলি
policy
রয়েছে
and facilitation measures
সেদিকে
to
আমরা জোর
enhance
দিচ্ছি।
the productivity, quality, and competitiveness of India's footwear and leather sector. A
Footwear,
focused product scheme
জুতো তৈরি
will be implemented.
এবং চামড়া
scheme will
শিল্পের
support
দিকে
design capacity,
আমরা জোর দেব।
component manufacturing, and machinery required for production of non-leather quality footwear, besides the support for leather
এবং
footwear
একই
and
সঙ্গে
products.
আমরা
The scheme is expected to
চামড়া
facilitate
ছাড়া
employment
যে
for
জুতো,
22 lakh persons,
সেটার উৎপাদনের উপরেও জোর দেব।
generate over 4 lakh crore rupees, and exports of over 1.1 lakh crore rupees.
এবং এর
Measures
ফলে
for the toys sector.
1.14
Building on the National Action Plan for Toys,
লক্ষ
we
কোটি
will
টাকার
implement a scheme to make India a
এক্সপোর্ট
global
হবে
hub for
আমরা মনে
toys.
করি।
The scheme will focus on development of clusters, skills, and a manufacturing
কিছু
ecosystem that will create
cluster
high
তৈরি হবে।
quality, unique, innovative, and sustainable toys that will represent the Made in India brand.
এবং আমরা মেড ইন ইন্ডিয়া ব্র্যান্ডটার উপরে
Support
জোর
for food
দিচ্ছি।
processing.
ফুড
In line
প্রসেসিং,
with our commitment towards
খাদ্য
Purvodaya,
প্রক্রিয়াকরণ,
we will establish a National Institute of
আমরা
Food Technology,
একটা ন্যাশনাল
Entrepreneurship
ইনস্টিটিউট অফ ফুড
and
টেকনোলজি
Management in Bihar.
তৈরি করছি
The
বিহারে।
institute will provide a strong fillip to food processing activities in the entire eastern region.
এবং এর ফলে
This will
পুরো
result in 1. Enhanced income for the farmers through value addition to their produce, and
এবং
2.
পুরো
Skilling
পূর্ব
entrepreneurship
ভারতে এর ফলে
and
উপকার
employment
ছড়িয়ে পড়বে।
opportunities for the youth. Manufacturing mission, furthering Make in India. Our government will set up a
Manufacturing এর
national
জন্যে
manufacturing mission covering small, medium, and large industries for furthering Make in
আমরা
India by providing policy support, execution
Policy support
roadmaps,
দেব।
governance, and monitoring framework
এবং
for
আরো
central
নানা ধরনের
ministries and states.
support দেব।
Details are in Annexure E.
অ্যানেক্সটা
Given
ডিতে
our commitment to
যার
climate
ডিটেল
friendly
রয়েছে।
development, the mission will also support clean tech manufacturing. This will aim to improve domestic value addition and build our ecosystem for solar PV cells,
আমরা
EV batteries, motors
solar cell,
and controllers,
পিভি ব্যাটারি এবং
electrolyzers,
কন্ট্রোলার,
wind turbines, very high voltage transmission equipment,
হাই
and
ভোল্টেজ
grid-scale
ট্রান্সমিশন
batteries.
ইকুইপমেন্ট ইত্যাদি
Investment
আমরা
as the
তৈরি
third
করার
engine.
প্রতি নজর দেব।
Now I move to investment as the third engine, which
তৃতীয় ইঞ্জিন হচ্ছে
encompasses investing in
বিনিয়োগ,
people, investing in the economy, and investing in
বিনিয়োগ
innovation. Investing in
তিনটে,
people.
একটা হচ্ছে মানুষের
Saksham
ওপর,
Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 program provides nutritional support
আমরা
to more than 8
অঙ্গনবাড়ি
crore
প্রোগ্রামে
children.
8 কোটি
1 crore pregnant women and lactating mothers
Children
all over the country,
এবং
and about 20
কোটি
lakh adolescent girls in
lactating
aspirational
mother-কে
districts and the northeast region.
সাহায্য করব।
The cost norms for these nutritional support will be enhanced
এই নিউট্রিশনাল
appropriately.
সাপোর্ট এই
Atal Tinkering Labs. 50,000
পুষ্টি
Atal Tinkering Labs will be
support
set up in government schools in the next
আমরা
5
নর্থ
years
ইস্টে পৌঁছে
to
দেব।
cultivate the spirit of curiosity and innovation and foster a scientific temper among young minds. Broadband connectivity to government secondary schools and PHCs. Broadband connectivity
গভর্নমেন্টের
will
যে
be provided to all
সেকেন্ডারি
government
স্কুলগুলো
secondary
রয়েছে
schools and
সেখানে
primary health
আমরা
centers in rural
broadband
areas
connection
under the
পৌঁছে দেব।
BharatNet project. Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak Scheme.
ভারতীয়
We propose
ভাষা
to implement a
পুস্তক
Bharatiya
স্কিম
Bhasha Pustak scheme to provide digital form Indian language books for schools
এর
and for higher
আওতায়
education.
আসবে
This
ভারতীয়
aims
ভাষায়
to help
লেখা
students understand
ডিজিটাল
their subjects better and in their
পুস্তক।
language. National Centers of Excellence for Skilling. Building on the
এবং
initiative announced in the July 24 budget, 5 national centers of excellence for skilling
পাঁচটা
will be set
ন্যাশনাল
up with
সেন্টার
global
ন্যাশনাল
expertise
সেন্টার অফ
and
এক্সেলেন্স হবে
partnerships to equip
যাতে
our youth with the skills
প্রশিক্ষণ
required
দিয়ে
for Make for
দক্ষতা
India,
বাড়ানো হবে।
Make for the World manufacturing. The partnership will cover curriculum design, training of trainers, and a
এবং
skill
এর ফলে
certification framework and
আমাদের
periodic reviews.
লেবার ফোর্সের
Expansion
দক্ষতা
of
বাড়বে।
capacity in IITs.
আইআইটি গুলোকে
Total number of students
বাড়ানো
in
হবে।
23 IITs has increased 100% from 65,000 to
IIT
1.35
ছাত্র
lakh in
সংখ্যা
the past 10
100%
years.
বেড়ে গেছে গত 10 বছরে।
Additional infrastructure will be created in the 5
বাড়তি
IITs
পরিকাঠামো
started
5টি
after 2014 to facilitate
IIT তে
education for
তৈরি হবে।
6,500 more students. Hostel and
500
other infrastructure capacity
করে
at
ছাত্র যাতে তারা
IIT
বেশি নিতে
Patna
পারে।
will also be expanded.
আইআইটি পাটনাকে আরো বড় করা হবে।
Center of Excellence. Center of Excellence
সেন্টার
in
অফ
AI for
এক্সেলেন্স হবে
education.
এআই এর।
I had announced 3 centers of excellence in
তিনটে
artificial intelligence
artificial
for
intelligence এ
agriculture, health and sustainable cities in 2023.
যারা কৃষি
Now a center of excellence
স্বাস্থ্য
in artificial intelligence for education
এবং
will
sustainable-
be set up with a total outlay of 500 crores.
500 কোটি টাকা দিয়ে 3টি
Expansion of medical education.
এআই এর
Our
সেন্টার
government
তৈরি
has
হবে।
added almost 1.1 lakh undergraduate and postgraduate medical education seats in 10 years. An
গত 10
increase of
বছরে আমরা
130%.
1.1 লক্ষ
In the
কোটি
next year, 10,000
medical
additional
education-এর seat
seats
বাড়িয়েছি।
will be added in medical colleges and hospitals
আরো seat
towards
বাড়ানো
the
হবে।
goal of adding 75,000 seats in the next 5 years. Daycare and
75
cancer centers in all district
শতাংশ বৃদ্ধি
hospitals.
পাবে মেডিকেল
Our
কলেজের সিট।
government will facilitate setting up of daycare cancer centers in
Daycare
all district
cancer
hospitals
center
in the next 3
সমস্ত
years. 200
জেলা
centers
হাসপাতালে
will be
তৈরি হবে।
established in 25-26 itself. Strengthening urban livelihoods. Our government has been giving priority to assisting urban poor and vulnerable groups. A scheme for socio-economic upliftment of urban workers will be implemented to help them improve their incomes, have sustainable livelihoods and a better
শহরের
quality of life.
যারা শ্রমিক
PM Swanidhi
তাদের
scheme
কিছু কিছু
has benefited
support
more
দেওয়া
than
হবে।
68 lakh street vendors, giving them respite from
65 লক্ষ
high interest informal sector
স্ট্রিট
loans.
ভেন্ডর
Building
তাদের
on this success,
সাহায্য
the
করা
scheme will
হয়েছে
be revamped
এবং
with
এই
enhanced loans from
প্রকল্পতে
banks UPI linked
Street
credit cards
vendorদের
with 30,000
আরো কিছু
rupees
সুবিধা
limit
দেয়া হবে
and capacity building
এবং
support.
তারা 30,000 টাকা অবধি লোন পেতে
Social
পারে।
security scheme for welfare of online platform workers. Gig workers of online platforms provide great dynamism to the new age services economy. Recognizing their contribution, our government will arrange for their identity cards and registration
Gig
on the
workerদের জন্যে
e-Shram portal. They will
identity
be
card তৈরি
provided
হবে।
healthcare under PM Jan Arogya Yojana. This measure is likely to assist nearly 1 crore gig workers.
1 কোটি গিগ ওয়ার্কার এর ফলে উপকৃত হবে।
Investing in the economy, public-private partnership in infrastructure. Each infrastructure-related ministry will come up with a 3-year pipeline of projects that can be implemented in PPP mode.
PPP মোডে
States will also be
ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার তৈরি
encouraged
হবে
to do so
এবং
and
রাজ্যগুলোকেও
can seek support from the India
উৎসাহ দেওয়া
Infrastructure
হচ্ছে তারাও
Project
যেন
Development Fund,
পিপিপি মোডের দিকে
which is a
ঝোঁকে।
scheme to prepare PPP proposals. Support to states for infrastructure. An outlay of 1.5 lakh crore is proposed for the 50-year interest-free loans to states for capital expenditure and incentives for reforms. Building on the success of the first asset monetization plan announced in 2021, the second plan for 2025 to 30 will be launched to plow back capital of 10 lakh crore in new projects. Regulatory and fiscal measures will be fine-tuned to support the plan.
Asset monetize করে।
Jal Jeevan Mission. Since
Jal Jeevan
2019, 15 crore households
15
representing
কোটি
80% of
পরিবার
India's rural population have
এতে
been
উপকৃত
provided
হয়েছে।
access to portable tap water connections. To achieve
কলের জল
100%
তাদের
coverage,
কাছে পৌঁছেছে।
I am pleased to announce the extension of this mission until 2028 with an enhanced total outlay. The mission's focus will be on the quality of infrastructure and O&M of rural piped water supply schemes through Jan
আমরা নজর
Bhagidari.
দেব
A
যাতে
separate MOU or
গ্রামের
separate
পরিবারদের
MOUs
কাছে
will be signed
পানীয় জল,
with the states and
কলের
union
জল
territories to
পৌঁছে
ensure sustainability and citizen-centric water services delivery.
এবং
Urban sector reforms. Building on the July budget
Urban
proposals,
sector reform.
urban sector reforms related to governance, municipal services, urban land and planning will
এবং
be incentivized.
শহরের
Urban Challenge
সংস্কার
Fund. The government will set
করার
up an
জন্য
urban
আমরা
challenge fund of 1
Urban
lakh crore rupees
চ্যালেঞ্জ ফান্ড
to implement
1
the
লক্ষ কোটি
proposals
টাকার
for cities as growth
দিচ্ছি
hubs, creative
এবং
redevelopment of
এর জন্য
cities, and
শহরগুলোকে
for water and
বৃদ্ধির
sanitation
হাব,
purposes
growth hub
announced in the
হিসেবে
July budget.
গড়ে
This
তোলা হবে।
fund will finance up to 25% of the cost of bankable projects with a stipulation that at least 50% of the cost is funded from bonds, bank loans and PPPs.
এবং
An
এটার জন্য
allocation of 10,000 crore
50%
is
টাকা
proposed in
আসবে
2025-26.
বন্ড এবং পিপিপি থেকে।
Power sector reforms. We will
Power
incentivize
sector
electricity
সংস্কার,
distribution reforms and augmentation of
Electricity
intrastate transmission
বন্টন,
capacity by states.
সেখানে আমরা
This will improve
কিছু
financial
সংস্কার
health
আনবো
and capacity of electricity companies.
এবং
Additional
এর
borrowing
ফলে
of 0.5%
ইলেকট্রিসিটি
of
কোম্পানিগুলোর
GSDP
ক্যাপাসিটি বাড়ানো
will be
হবে।
allowed to states contingent on these reforms. Nuclear energy mission. for
নিউক্লিয়ার
Viksit
এনার্জি
Bharat.
মিশন
Development of at least 100
বিকশিত
gigawatt
ভারত,
of nuclear energy
100
by
গিগাওয়াট
2047
নিউক্লিয়ার এনার্জি তৈরি
is
করা হবে
essential for our energy transition efforts.
এবং
For an
এটা
active
আমাদের এনার্জির
partnership with the
নিউক্লিয়ার
private
এনার্জিতে
sector
যাওয়ার
towards
জন্য
this goal.
দরকার
Amendments to the Atomic Energy Act and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act will be taken up. A nuclear energy mission
Nuclear
research and
energy
development
mission.
of small modular reactors
Research এবং
with an
development-এর
outlay of
জন্যে
20,000 crore will be set up.
20,000 কোটি
At least
টাকার
5
এর জন্য বরাদ্দ
indigenously
করা হলো।
developed small modular reactors will
এর
be
জন্য
operationalized
ছোট
by 20 to
মডুলার
33.
রিঅ্যাক্টর তৈরি করা হবে।
Shipbuilding. The
জাহাজ
shipbuilding
নির্মাণ।
financial assistance policy will be revamped to address cost disadvantages. This will also
এটা-
include credit notes for shipbreaking in Indian yards to promote the circular economy. Large ships
আমরা
above a
বড়
specified size
জাহাজ
will be
যেগুলো আর
included
চলে না,
in the
সেগুলোকে
infrastructure
dismantle
harmonized
করব।
master list. Shipbuilding clusters will be facilitated
এবং এর
to
জন্যে
increase the range,
জাহাজ নির্মাণের
categories and
ক্লাস্টার তৈরি
capacity
হবে।
of ships. This will include additional infrastructure,
এবং-
facilities, skilling and technology to develop the entire ecosystem.
এর ফলে নতুন
Maritime Development Fund for long-term financing for
পরিকাঠামো
the
তৈরি হবে।
maritime industry. A maritime development
Maritime
fund
industry
with a
অর্থাৎ
corpus of 25,000 crore rupees will be set up.
জলপথে
This will be for
বাণিজ্যের যে
distributed support
শিল্প
and
সেটাকে
promoting
জোর দেওয়া হবে।
competition. This will have up to 49% contribution by the government and the balance will be mobilized
49%
from ports and
টাকা
from
আসবে
private sector.
সরকারের কাছ থেকে এবং
Udan
51%
regional
আসবে
connectivity schemes.
বেসরকারি উদ্যোগ
Udan
থেকে।
has enabled 1.5 crore
Udan-
middle class people to meet their aspirations for speedier travel. The scheme has connected 88 airports
এবং
and
উড়ান
operationalized
সংস্কার
619 routes.
প্রকল্পের ফলে
Inspired
আমাদের
by
অনেক
that
নতুন
success,
এয়ারপোর্ট
a
তৈরি হয়েছে
modified Udan scheme will be launched
এবং
to
আমরা
enhance
এই
regional
উড়ান
connectivity
প্রকল্পটিকে
to
আরো
120 new
প্রসারিত করব।
destinations and carry
20টি
4 passengers
নতুন
in the next 10 years.
ডেস্টিনেশনে
4 additional
এরোপ্লেন
passengers
যাবে।
in the next 10 years. The scheme will also support helipads and
এবং
smaller
এই
airports in
প্রকল্পে
hilly, aspirational
হেলিপ্যাড
and
এবং
northeast regional
অন্যান্য সাপোর্ট
districts.
পার্বত্য অঞ্চলে দেওয়া হবে।
Greenfield airports will be facilitated in Bihar to meet the
বিহারে
future needs of the state.
গ্রিনফিল্ড এয়ারপোর্ট তৈরি হবে।
These will be in addition to the expansion of the capacity of Patna Airport and a brownfield airport in Beta.
এটা পাটনা এয়ারপোর্টের
Western
সম্প্রসারণের
Kosi Canal
সঙ্গে
project in
সঙ্গে হবে।
Mithilanchal. Financial support will be provided for the Western Kosi Canal ERM project, benefiting a
পশ্চিম
large number
কোশি
of
নদীর
farmers,
কানালের জন্যও
cultivating
টাকা দেওয়া
over
হবে।
50,000 hectares of land in the Mithilanchal region of Bihar.
50,000
Mining sector
হেক্টর
reforms.
জমি এর ফলে উপকৃত
Mining
হবে।
sector reforms, including those for minor minerals, will be encouraged through sharing of best
Mining
practices
sector-
and institutions of a state mining index. A policy for recovery of critical minerals from tailings will be brought out.
খনিজ পদার্থ
Under the special window for affordable
পাওয়ার
and
জন্যে
mid-income
আমরা
housing, SWAMI,
বিশেষ
50,000
ব্যবস্থা
dwelling
নেব।
units in stressed housing projects have been completed and keys handed over to home buyers. Another 40,000 units will be completed in 2025, further helping middle-class families who are paying EMIs on loans taken for apartments while also
বাড়ি
paying
তৈরির
rent
জন্য
for their
আমরা
current
বিশেষ
dwellings.
ব্যবস্থা নিচ্ছি। এর ফলে বহু
Building on
পরিবার
this success,
উপকৃত হবে।
SWAMI Fund 2 will be established as a blended finance facility with contribution from the government, banks and private investors. This fund of 15,000 crore rupees will aim for expeditious completion of another 1 lakh units. PM Gati Shakti data for private sector.
পিএম গতি শক্তি
For furthering PPPs and assisting the private sector
Private
in
sector
project
jonne
planning, access to relevant data and
Data.
maps from the
এটার
PM
ফলে
Gati Shakti portal
PM
will be
গতি
provided.
শক্তি ডেটা পোর্টাল থেকে প্রাইভেট
Tourism
এজেন্টরা
for
ডেটা সংগ্রহ
employment-led
করতে পারবেন।
growth. Top 50 tourist destination sites
ট্যুরিজমের ওপর
in
আমরা
the
জোর
country
দিচ্ছি যাতে
will be developed
কর্মসংস্থান
in
তৈরি হয়
partnership with states through a challenge mode. Land for building key infrastructure
এবং এর
will
জন্য
have to be
আমরা
provided by
রাজ্যগুলির
the
সঙ্গে
states. Hotels in
collaborate
these
করব।
destinations will be included in the infrastructure harmonized list. The following measures will be taken for facilitating employment-led growth. Organizing
কর্মসংস্থান
intensive
বাড়ানোর
skill
জন্য
development
আমরা
programs for our youth, including
কি
institutes
নিচ্ছি?
in institutes of hospitality management. Providing mudra loans for homestays.
মুদ্রা লোন দেওয়া
Improving
হবে
ease of
হোমস্টে
travel and
হোমস্টের
connectivity to
জন্য
tourist destinations.
এবং এর ফলে
Providing
tourism ও
performance-linked
বাড়বে।
incentives to states for effective destination management, including tourist amenities, cleanliness, and marketing efforts, and introducing streamlined e-visa facilities along with visa fee waivers for certain tourist groups.
এবং কিছু কিছু টুরিস্ট গ্রুপের জন্য আমরা
Continuing with
ভিসা
the
ফি
emphasis on
মকুব করে
places
দেব।
of spiritual and religious significance in the July budget, there will be a
স্পিরিচুয়াল
special
এবং
focus on destinations related to the life and times of Lord Buddha.
আমরা লর্ড বুদ্ধার
Medical
জীবন
tourism
এবং
and heal
সময়ের
in
ওপর
India. Medical tourism and heal in India will be promoted in
প্রকল্প তৈরি
partnership with the
করব।
private sector along with capacity building and easier visa norms.
ভিসা নর্ম
Investing
অনেক
in
সহজ করে
innovation.
দেওয়া হবে।
To implement
ইনোভেশনে
private sector
যে
driven
ইনোভেশন
research, development and innovation initiatives announced in the July budget, I am now allocating 20,000 crore rupees for this purpose.
20,000 কোটি টাকা
A deep tech fund of
ইনোভেশনের
funds
বিনিয়োগে
will also be
ব্যয় করা হবে।
explored to catalyze the next generation startups as a part of this initiative. In the next 5 years,
পরের
under
5
the
বছরে
PM Research Fellowship Scheme,
PM
we
Research
will
Fellowship
provide
Scheme এ
10,000 fellowships
আমরা
for
10,000
technological research
ফেলোশিপ দেব
in IITs
প্রযুক্তিগত
and
রিসার্চ
IISc
করার জন্য
with enhanced
যেগুলো
financial
আইআইটি
support.
এবং আইআইএসসি তে হবে।
The second gene bank with 10
Gene
lakh germ
bank
plasm
তৈরি হবে
lines will be
10
set up for
লক্ষ জাম
future
দিয়ে।
food and nutritional security. This
এটা
will provide
ভবিষ্যতের
conservation support to
খাদ্য
both public
সুরক্ষা
and
দেবে।
private sectors for genetic resources.
এবং এর জন্য আমরা
We will
প্রাইভেট
start a
সেক্টরের উপর
national
নির্ভর করব।
geospatial mission to develop foundational geospatial infrastructure.
জিওস্পেশাল
and
ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচারের জন্য
Using PM Gati Shakti, this
আমরা
mission will
নজর দেব।
facilitate modernization of land records, urban planning, and design of infrastructure projects. A Gyan Bharatam mission for survey,
অজ্ঞান ভারতম
documentation, and conservation of our manuscript heritage with academic institutions, museums, libraries,
Academic
and private
institution,
collectors
museum,
will be
library,
undertaken to cover more than 1 crore manuscripts. We
এরা
will set up a
1
national
কোটি
digital repository
ম্যানুস্ক্রিপ্ট
of Indian
যাতে
knowledge
ডিজিটালি
systems
রাখতে
for
পারে
knowledge
তার
sharing.
জন্য আমরা অর্থ
Now
সংস্থান
I
করছি।
move to exports as the fourth engine.
আমাদের
We
চতুর্থ
will set
ইঞ্জিন
up an
হচ্ছে
export
রপ্তানি।
promotion mission
আমরা
with
এক্সপোর্ট প্রমোশন
sectoral and
মিশন
ministerial targets
তৈরি করছি।
driven jointly by the
প্রত্যেকটি
ministries of commerce,
মিনিস্ট্রির জন্য
MSME and
প্রত্যেকটি
finance.
দপ্তরের
It
জন্য
will
আলাদা আলাদা
facilitate
টার্গেট
easy
থাকবে
access to export credit, cross-border
এবং
factoring
একই
support,
সঙ্গে এক্সপোর্ট
support to
ক্রেডিট
MSMEs to tackle
রপ্তানির জন্য
non-tariff
ধার
measures in
সহজে নেওয়া
overseas
যাবে।
markets. A digital public infrastructure, Bharat Trade Net,
ডিজিটাল
for
পাবলিক
international
ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার
trade will be set
ভারত
up
ট্রেড
as
নেট
a unified platform
তৈরি করা হবে
for trade documentation
এবং
and
এটা-
financing solutions.
এটা ট্রেড
This will
ডকুমেন্টেশন যারা
complement the
রপ্তানি
unified
করবেন
logistics
তাদের
interface
কাজে লাগবে।
platform. The BTN will be aligned with international practices. Support will be provided to develop domestic manufacturing capacities for
একই
our
সঙ্গে
economy's
আমাদের
integration with global
দেশের
supply chains.
ভেতরকার
Sectors will be
ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং
identified
বাড়ানোর
based on
জন্য আমরা
objective criteria.
অর্থ বরাদ্দ
Facilitation groups
করছি।
with participation of senior officers and industry representatives will be formed for select products and supply
সিনিয়র
chains.
অফিসার এবং
Through this, there are
Industry-
huge opportunities related to Industry 4.0,
প্রতিনিধি
which
নিয়ে
needs high skills and talent.
আমরা
Our youth have
একটা
both.
বডি তৈরি করব যারা
Our government will support the
দক্ষতা
domestic
বাড়াতে
electronic
সাহায্য
equipment
করবে।
industry to leverage this opportunity for the benefit of our youth. A national framework will be formulated as guidance to states for promoting global capability centers in emerging Tier 2 cities.
টিয়ার 2
This
সিটিতে
will suggest measures for enhancing availability of talent and
আমরা
infrastructure, building bylaw
talent এবং
reforms and
infrastructure,
mechanisms for
মেধা এবং
collaboration with
পরিকাঠামো
industry.
দেব।
Our government will facilitate upgradation of infrastructure and warehousing for air cargo, including high-value perishable
সরকার
horticultural produce. Cargo screening and customs protocol will be streamlined and
Cargo
made user-friendly.
এবং কাস্টমস প্রোটোকলের ব্যাপারে
Reforms
সরকার
as the
সাহায্য
fuel.
করবে।
Over the past 10 years, our
গত 10
government has
বছরে
implemented several reforms for
সরকার
convenience of taxpayers, such as
অনেকগুলো
faceless
সংস্কার
assessment
নিয়েছে,
to taxpayer charter,
যেমন
3
faceless
faster returns,
assessment
4 almost
এবং
99%
অনেক
returns
তাড়াতাড়ি
being
রিটার্ন
on
এখন হয়
self-assessment, and
এবং
5
99%
scheme.
রিটার্ন নিজেরাই করা যায়।
Continuing these efforts, I reaffirm the commitment of the tax department to trust
আমরা
first, scrutinize later. I also
বলবো
propose to
প্রথমে
introduce
বিশ্বাস
the
করতে
new
এবং
income
তারপরে
tax bill next
স্ক্রুটিনাইজ
week.
করতে।
I will detail the indirect tax reforms and changes
এবার পরোক্ষ
in direct
কর
taxes in Part B. Financial sector reforms. The FDI limit for the insurance
Financial sector
will
reform.
be raised from 74 to 100%.
এফডিআই
This enhanced
লিমিট
limit
74%
will be
থেকে
available for those
100%
companies
করা
which
হলো।
invest the entire premium in India. The current guardrails and conditionalities associated with foreign investment will be reviewed and simplified.
এবং এখনকার যে নিয়ম আছে সেগুলোকে রিভিউ করা হবে।
The services of India Post Payment Bank will be deepened and expanded in
ইন্ডিয়া
rural
পোস্ট
areas.
পেমেন্ট ব্যাংকটা গ্রামে ছড়িয়ে দেওয়া হবে।
NABFID will set up a partial credit enhancement facility for corporate bonds for infrastructure. Public sector banks will develop Grameen Credit Score Framework to serve the credit needs of SHG members and people in rural
এসএইচজি মেম্বারদের
areas.
ক্রেডিট
A forum for
ধারের,
regulatory
ধার
coordination and development
দেওয়ার
of
জন্য
pension products will be set up. To
আমরা
implement the
অর্থ
earlier announcement on
সংস্থান
simplifying
করছি।
the KYC processes, the revamped central KYC
KYC
registry will be rolled
process-টা
out in 2025. We will also implement a streamlined system for periodic updating.
আমরা পিরিয়ডিক আপডেটিং
Requirements and
করব
procedures for speedy approval
এবং
of
যাতে
company mergers will be
তাড়াতাড়ি
rationalized. The
কোম্পানি
scope for
মার্জারটা
fast-track
হতে পারে
mergers
তার
will
জন্য
also
আমরা
be
কিছু
widened and the
সংস্কার
process
নিয়ে
made
আসছি।
simpler. As proposed in the interim budget, we signed bilateral investment treaties
আমরা
with 2 countries in
দ্বিপাক্ষিক
2024 to encourage
investment treaty
sustained foreign
সই
investment,
করেছি
and in the
দুটি
spirit
দেশের
of
সঙ্গে।
first develop India, the current model BIT will be revamped
এবং
and made more investor friendly.
আমরা আরো বেশি
In the
ইনভেস্টর
last
ফ্রেন্ডলি
10
করতে
years,
চাই আমাদের
in several
অর্থনীতিকে।
aspects, including financial and non-financial, our government has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to ease of doing business.
ইজ অফ
We are
ডুইং
determined to
বিজনেসের দিকে
ensure
আমরা নজর
that our
দিচ্ছি
regulations
যাতে
must
সহজে
keep
ব্যবসা
up
বাণিজ্য
with
করা যায়।
technological innovations and global policy developments. A light touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust will unleash productivity and employment. Through this framework, we will update regulations that were made
আমরা এই
under
ব্যাপারে
old
যে রেগুলেশন
laws
আছে
to develop this
সেগুলো আবার
modern,
ভেবে দেখব,
flexible, people-friendly
আরো
and
বেশি
trust-based
flexible করব
regulatory framework
এবং
appropriate for
সেটা
the
যাতে
21st century. I
আরো
propose
বেশি বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ
4
হয় যারা
specific
ব্যবহার করে।
measures. A high-level committee
সেটাও আমরা দেখব
for regulatory reforms
এবং
will
এর
be
জন্য
set up
regulatory
for a
reform-এর
review of
জন্য
all non-financial sector
একটা
regulations,
high-level committee তৈরি হবে।
certifications, licenses and permissions. The committee will be expected to make recommendations within a year. The objective is to strengthen trust-based economic governance and take transformational measures to enhance ease of doing business, especially in matters of inspection and compliances. States will be encouraged to join in this endeavor. An investment friendliness index of states will be launched in 2025 to further
প্রত্যেকটি
the spirit
রাজ্য
of
কতটা
competitive
বিনিয়োগের প্রতি
cooperative federalism.
বন্ধুত্বপূর্ণ সেটা নিয়ে একটা
Under
ইন্ডেক্স
the
তৈরি
Financial
হবে।
Stability and Development Council, a mechanism will be set up to evaluate impact of the current financial regulations and subsidiary instructions. It will also formulate a framework to enhance their responsiveness and development of the financial sector. In the Jan Vishwas Act 2023, more than 180 legal provisions were decriminalized. Our government will now bring up the Jan Vishwas Bill
Jan Vishwas
2.0
Bill
to decriminalize more than 100 provisions in various laws. I now move to
decriminalize করা
fiscal
হবে।
policy. In
এখন
the
fiscal
July
policy
budget, I had committed to staying the course for fiscal consolidation. Our
আমরা
endeavor
ফিসক্যাল
will be to keep the fiscal
কনসলিডেশনের দিকে
deficit
নজর
each year
দিচ্ছি
such that central government debt remains on a declining path as a
যাতে করে
percentage of the GDP.
কেন্দ্রীয়
The roadmap
সরকারের
for the
ধার
next 6 years
ক্রমশ
has been detailed
কমে যায়।
in the FRBM statement.
এফআরবিএম
Revised
স্টেটমেন্টে
estimates
দেওয়া
for
রয়েছে
2024-25. The revised estimate of the total receipts other than borrowings is 31.47 lakh crore rupees, of which the net tax receipts are 25.57 lakh crore rupees. The revised estimate of the total
Revised
expenditure is
estimate গত বছরের
47.16 lakh crore rupees, of which the capital expenditure is about 10.18 lakh crore rupees. The revised estimate of the fiscal deficit is 4.8% of the GDP.
4.8%
Budget estimates for 25-26.
ফিসক্যাল
Coming to
ডেফিসিট
25-26, the total receipts other than borrowings and total expenditure
25-26
are estimated at 34.96 lakh crore rupees and 50.65 lakh crore rupees respectively. The net tax receipts are estimated at 28.37 lakh crore rupees. The fiscal deficit is estimated to be 4.4% of GDP.
সামনের বছরে অর্থাৎ
To finance
25-26
the fiscal deficit, the net market
4.4%
borrowings from dated
fiscal
securities
deficit হবে
are
আশা করা
estimated
যাচ্ছে।
at 11.54 lakh crore. The balance financing is expected to come from small savings and other sources. The gross market borrowings are estimated at 14.82 lakh crore rupees. I will now move to part B.
এবার পার্ট বি
Indirect taxes.
পরোক্ষ
My
কর
proposals relating to customs aim to
Customs.
rationalize tariff structure and address duty inversion. These will also support domestic manufacturing and value addition, promote exports, facilitate trade, and provide relief to common people. Rationalization of customs tariff structure for industrial goods. As a part of
আমরা
comprehensive review of customs rate
Customs
structure
tariff আরো
announced
সহজ
in
করে দেব।
July 2024 budget, I propose to 1. Remove 7 tariff rates. This is over and
আমরা
above
কিছু
the 7
tariff
tariff rates removed
সম্পূর্ণ
in
বিলোপ করে
23-24
দিচ্ছি
budget. After this, they will be only 8 remaining tariff rates, including zero rate. 2.
এর ফলে
Apply
মাত্র
appropriate
8টা
cess to
ক্ষেত্রে
broadly maintain
ট্যারিফ
effective
থাকবে
duty incidence, except on a few items where such incidents will reduce marginally. 3. Levy not more than one cess or surcharge.
একের
Therefore,
বেশি
I
সেস নেওয়া
propose to
হবে না
exempt social welfare surcharge on
Social
82 tariff
welfare
lines
surcharge
that are subject to a cess. I shall now take up
82টি ক্ষেত্রে
sector-specific proposals.
বিলোপ করা হলো
To provide relief to patients, particularly those suffering from cancer,
ক্যান্সার
rare
রোগীদের
diseases,
জন্য
and other severe chronic diseases,
এবং
I
অন্যান্য
propose to
chronic
add
রোগীদের
36
জন্য
life-saving drugs and medicines to the list of medicines fully exempted from basic custom duty.
বেশ কিছু জীবনদায়িনী ওষুধের উপর থেকে সম্পূর্ণ
I
তুলে
also
নেওয়া হলো
propose to add
ট্যারিফ
6 life-saving medicines to the
ছটি
list attracting concessional custom duty of 5%.
এবং
Full
ছটি
exemption and
জীবনদায়িনী ওষুধের
concessional
উপর
duty
5%
will also
ট্যারিফ রইল
respectively apply on the bulk drugs for manufacture of the above. Specified drugs and medicines under patient assistance programs run by the pharmaceutical companies are fully exempt from BCD, provided the medicines are supplied free of cost to the patients. I propose to add 37 more medicines along with 13 new patient assistance programs. Support to domestic manufacturing and value addition. Critical minerals. In the July 2024 budget, I had fully exempted BCD on 25 critical minerals that are not domestically available. I had also reduced BCD of 2 other such minerals to provide a major fillip to their processing, especially by MSMEs. Now, I propose to fully exempt cobalt powder and waste, the scrap of lithium-ion battery, lead, zinc, and 12 more critical minerals. This will help secure the availability for manufacturing in India and promote more jobs for our youth.
আমদানি শুল্ক তুলে দেওয়া হবে
To promote domestic production of technical textile products such as agro-textiles, medical textiles, and geotextiles at competitive prices, I propose to add 2 more types of shuttle-less looms to the list of fully exempted textile machinery. I also propose to revise the BCD rate on knitted fabrics covered by 9 tariff lines from 10 or 20 to 20% or 115 rupees per kg, whichever is higher. Electronic goods. In line with our Make in India policy and to rectify inverted duty structure, I propose to increase the BCD on interactive flat panel display from 10% to 20% and reduce the BCD to 5% on open cell and other components. In 23-24 budget, for the manufacture of open cells of LCD, LED TVs, I had reduced the BCD on parts of open cells from 5% to 2.5%. To further boost the manufacture of such open cells, the BCD on these parts will now stand exempted. Lithium-ion battery. To the list of exempted capital goods, I propose to add 35 additional capital goods for EV battery manufacturing and 28 additional capital goods for mobile phone battery manufacturing. This will boost domestic manufacture of lithium-ion batteries,
মোবাইল ফোন ম্যানুফ্যাকচারারদের কিছু সুবিধা দেওয়ার জন্য
shipping sector,
আমদানি শুল্ক
considering that
প্রত্যাহার করা
shipbuilding has a
হলো
long gestation period, I propose to continue the exemption of BCD on raw materials, components, consumables, or parts for the manufacture of ships for another 10 years.
আরো 10 বছরের জন্য আমরা কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে ট্যারিফ রেখে দিলাম
I also propose the same dispensation for shipbreaking to make it more competitive. Telecommunication. To prevent
Telecommunication.
classification disputes, I propose to reduce the BCD from 20% to 10% on carrier-grade Ethernet switches to make it at par with non-carrier-grade Ethernet
কিছু কিছু
switches.
ক্ষেত্রে
Export promotion.
আমদানি শুল্ক
To
20
facilitate
থেকে
exports of
10% করা হলো।
handicrafts, I propose to extend the time period for export from 6 months to 1 year, further extendable by another 3 months if required. I also propose to add 9 items to the list of duty-free inputs. Leather sector. I
Leather,
propose to fully exempt BCD on wet blue leather to
ওয়েট ব্লু
facilitate
লেদারের উপর
imports
আমদানি শুল্ক
for
পুরো
domestic value
প্রত্যাহার
addition
করা হলো।
and employment. I also
এর
propose
ফলে
to exempt crust leather from
কর্মসংস্থান বাড়বে।
20% export duty to facilitate exports by small tanners. Marine products. To enhance India's competitiveness in the global seafood market, I propose to reduce BCD from 30% to 5% on frozen fish paste, surimi, for manufacture and export of its analog products. I also propose to reduce BCD from 15% to 5% on fish hydrolysates for manufacture of fish and shrimp feed. In July 2024 budget, to promote development of domestic MROs for aircraft and ships, I had extended the time limit for export of foreign origin goods that were imported for repairs from 6 months to 1 year and further extendable by 1 year. I now propose to extend the same dispensation for railway goods. Time limit for provisional assessment. Presently, the Customs Act 1962 does not provide any time limit to finalize provisional assessments, leading to uncertainty and cost to trade. As a measure of promoting ease of doing business, I propose to fix a time limit of 2 years, extendable by a year, for finalizing the provisional assessment.
2 বছর এবং যেটা আরো 1 বছর
I
বাড়ানো
propose to
যাবে।
introduce a new provision that will enable importers or exporters, after clearance of goods, to voluntarily declare material facts and pay duty with interest but without penalty. This will incentivize voluntary compliance. However, this will not apply in cases where department has already initiated audit or
ইন্টারেস্টটা চাইবো কিন্তু পেনাল্টিটা মুকুব করে দেব কিন্তু
For
যেসব
industry
ক্ষেত্রে
to better plan their imports, I
Ministry
propose to extend the time limit
case
for
শুরু
the
করে
end use of
দিয়েছে,
imported inputs
সেক্ষেত্রে এটা
in the
লাগু হবে
relevant
না।
rules from 6 months to 1 year. This will provide operational flexibility in view of cost and uncertainty of supply. Further, such importers will now have to file only quarterly statements instead of a monthly statement. I now come to my direct tax proposals.
এখন
In Part
ডাইরেক্ট
A,
ট্যাক্স প্রপোজাল
I have briefly underlined taxation reforms as one of key reforms to realize our
আমরা
vision of Vikasit Bharat. In respect of criminal law,
কর
our
সংস্কারটাকে
government
একটা
had earlier
অন্যতম
ushered in
প্রধান
Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, replacing
মনে করছি।
Bharatiya Danda Sanhita. I am happy to inform this
আমি
august house
খুশি
and the
হয়ে
country
জানাচ্ছি
that for new income tax bill
নতুন
will carry
ইনকাম ট্যাক্স
forward
বিল
the same spirit of Nyaya in its drafting as well. The new bill will be clear and direct in text, with close to half of the present law
নতুন
in terms
বিলে
of both
অনেক
chapters
সহজবোধ্য
and
হবে
words.
এবং
It will be simple to
পুরনোর
understand for
অর্ধেক হয়ে যাবে
taxpayers and tax
clause
administrators, leading to tax
এবং
certainty
সহজ
and reduced
বদ্ধভাবে লেখা
litigation.
হবে।
Reforms, however, are not a destination. They are means to achieve good governance for our people and economy. Providing good governance primarily involves being responsive. The Tirukural captures this in verse 542, which reads, Vanokki varum ulagallam, mannavan kol nokki varum kudi. Meaning, just as the living beings live expecting rains, citizens live expecting good governance. Our government is committed to keeping an ear to the ground and a finger on the pulse and responding while balancing our national building efforts. While balancing our nation building efforts. The following measures will detail just how our government will, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address. I repeat that sentence, sir. The following measures will detail just how our government, under the guidance of PM Modi, has taken steps to understand and address the needs voiced by our citizens. My tax proposals are guided by this spirit. The objectives of my proposals are as follows. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class. Rationalization of TDS and TCS for easing difficulties. Encouraging voluntary compliance. Reducing compliance burden. Ease of doing business, employment and investment. I will come to my proposal on personal income tax towards the end. TDS and TCS, rationalization for easing difficulties. I propose to rationalize tax deduction at source, TDS, by reducing the number of rates and thresholds above which TDS is deducted. Further, threshold amounts for tax deduction will be increased for better clarity and uniformity. The limit for tax deduction on interest for senior citizens is being doubled from the present 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees.
Senior citizenদের জন্য 50,000 থেকে বাড়িয়ে 1 লাখ টাকা অবধি ইন্টারেস্ট ইনকামের উপর ট্যাক্স থাকবে না।
For TDS on rent is being increased to 6 lakh rupees. This will reduce
রেন্টের উপর 6 লক্ষ টাকা
reduce the number of transactions liable to TDS, thus benefiting small taxpayers receiving small payments. The threshold to collect tax at source, the TCS, on remittances under RBI's liberalized remittance scheme, the LRS, is proposed to be increased from 7 lakh to 10 lakh.
TCS
I also propose to remove TCS on remittances for education purposes, where such remittances is out of a loan taken from a specified financial institution. Both TDS and TCS are being applied on any transaction related to sale of goods. To prevent such compliance difficulties, I propose to omit the TCS. I also propose that the provisions of the higher TDS deduction will now apply only in non-PAN cases. In July 2024, the delay for payment of TDS up to the due date of filing statement was decriminalized. I propose to provide the same relaxation to TCS provisions as well. The government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas. In line with this, we brought in updated return facility in 2022 for voluntary compliance by taxpayers who had omitted to report their correct income. Our trust in taxpayers was proved right. Nearly 90 lakh taxpayers voluntarily updated their incomes by paying additional tax. Taking this trust further, I now propose to extend the time limit to file updated returns for any assessment year from the current limit of 2 years to 4 years.
এখন 4 বছর অবধি
I propose to reduce the compliance burden for small charitable trusts and institutions by increasing their period of registration from 5 years to 10 years. It is also proposed that disproportionate consequences do not arise for minor defaults such as incomplete applications filed by charitable entities. Presently, taxpayers can claim the annual value of self-occupied properties as nil only on the fulfillment of certain conditions. Considering the difficulties faced by taxpayers, it is proposed to allow the benefit of 2 such self-occupied properties without any condition. To streamline the process of transfer pricing and to provide an alternative to yearly examination, I propose to introduce a scheme for determining arm's length price of international transaction for a block period of 3 years. This will be in line with global best practices.
Transaction
with a view to reduce litigation and provide certainty in international taxation, the scope of safe harbor rules is being expanded. A number of senior and very senior citizens have very old national savings schemes accounts. As interest is no longer payable on such accounts, I propose to exempt withdrawals made from NSS by individuals on or after 29th August 2024. I am also proposing to allow similar treatment to NPS Vatsalya accounts as is available to normal NPS accounts subject to overall limits. In my speech in July 2024, I promised that all processes, including giving effect to appellate orders, shall be digitalized and made paperless. Over the next 2 years. So I'm happy to announce that digitalization is being made operational now. In July 2024, we brought in the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme to resolve income tax disputes pending in appeal. The scheme has received a great response, with nearly 33,000 taxpayers having availed of the scheme to settle their disputes. I have a few proposals to promote investment and employment. It is proposed to provide a presumptive taxation regime for non-residents who provide services to a resident company that is establishing or operating an electronics manufacturing facility. I further propose to introduce a safe harbor for tax certainty for non-residents who store components for supply to specified electronics manufacturing units. Presently, the tonnage tax scheme is available only to sea-going ships. The benefits of existing tonnage tax scheme are proposed to be extended to inland vessels registered under the Indian Vessels Act 2021 to promote inland water transport in the country. Extension for incorporation of startups. We continue to support the Indian startup ecosystem. I propose to extend the period of incorporation by 5 years to allow the benefit available to startups which are incorporated before 1/4/2030. In order to attract and promote additional activities in the IFSC, I am inter alia proposing specific benefits to ship leasing units, insurance offices, and treasury centers of global companies which are set up in IFSC. Further, to claim benefits, the cutoff date for commencement in IFSC has also been extended by 5 years to 31/3/2030. Category 1 and Category 2 AIFs are undertaking investments in infrastructure and other such sectors. I propose to provide certainty of taxation to these entities on the gains from securities, to promote funding from sovereign wealth funds and pension funds to the infrastructure sector. I propose to extend the date of making an investment by 5 more years up to 31st March 2030. Personal income tax reforms with special focus on middle class.
Income tax reform,
democracy, demography and demand are the key support pillars in our journey towards Vikasit Bharat. The middle class provides strength for India's growth. This government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, has always believed in the admirable energy and ability of the middle class in nation building. In recognition of their contribution,
প্রধানমন্ত্রী মোদি মধ্যবিত্তদের ভূমিকা
in
সম্বন্ধে
recognition of
অবহিত
their contribution, we have periodically reduced their tax burden. Right
আমরা তাদের
after 2014, the nil tax slab
করের
was raised
আয়করের
to
ভার
2.5 lakhs of
কমাতে
rupees,
চাই,
which was further raised to 5 lakh rupees in 2019 and to 7 lakh rupees in 2023. This is reflective of our government's trust on the middle class taxpayers. I am now happy to announce that there will be no income tax payable up to income of 12 lakh rupees.
12 লক্ষ টাকা অবধি কোনো আয়কর লাগবে না।
So, average income of 1 lakh per month other than the special rate income such as capital gains
তার
under
মানে
the new regime.
যার 1 লক্ষ
This
টাকা
limit will
মাসে
be
ইনকাম
12.75
তাদের
lakh
কোনো
for salary
কর দিতে হচ্ছে
taxpayers
না।
due to the standard deduction of 75,000. Slabs and rates are being changed across the board to benefit all
স্ল্যাব
taxpayers.
এবং
The
রেটগুলো
new structure
চেঞ্জ করা
will
হচ্ছে
substantially reduce the taxes of the middle class and leave
এবং
more money in their hands,
এর ফলে
boosting
মধ্যবিত্তদের
household
ট্যাক্স
consumption,
অনেকটা
savings
কম হবে
and investment.
এবং এর
In
ফলে
the
তারা
new tax regime,
টাকা খরচ
I
করতে পারবে।
propose to revise tax rate structures as follows. 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil,
0 থেকে 4
4.8 lakh rupees to
কোনো tax নেই।
4 to 8 lakh rupees 5%,
5%,
8 to
4
12
থেকে
lakh rupees
8%,
10%, 12 to 16 lakh rupees 15%, 16 to 20 lakh rupees 20%, 20 to 24 lakh rupees 25%, and above 24 lakh rupees 30%.
24 লক্ষের উপরে 30% ট্যাক্স
To
দিতে হবে।
taxpayers up to 12 lakh of normal income other than special rate income such as capital gains. I read that again. To taxpayers up to 12 lakh of income
12 lakh
other
টাকা
than
অবধি
special rate income such as capital gains, tax
ছাড়া
rebate is being provided in addition to the benefit due to slab rate reduction in such a manner that there is no tax payable by them. The total tax benefit of slab rate changes and rebate at different income levels can be illustrated with a few examples. A taxpayer
আমরা
in the
কয়েকটা
new
এক্সাম্পল
regime
দিচ্ছি।
with an income of 12 lakh rupees will get a benefit of 80,000 rupees in tax, which is 100% of tax payable as per the existing rates. A person
12
having
লক্ষ
income
টাকা অবধি কোনো
a
ট্যাক্স
person
লাগছে না।
having income of 18 lakh rupees
যার 18
will
লক্ষ
get a
টাকা
benefit
income,
of 70,000 rupees in tax. That is 30% of tax payable as per existing rates.
যার
A
18
person
লাখ
with an
টাকা
income of
ইনকাম
25
সে
lakh
70,000
gets a
টাকা বেনিফিট
benefit
পাবে।
of 1,10,000 rupees, that is 25% of his tax payable as per existing rates. Details of my tax proposals are given in the annexure. As
ডিটেইলটা
a result of these proposals, Honorable Speaker,
অ্যানেক্সচারে দেওয়া
sir,
আছে।
revenue of about 1 lakh crore in direct taxes and 2,600 crores in indirect taxes will be foregone. Mr. Speaker, sir,
এবং
with
এর
this,
ফলে
I
আমাদের
commend the budget to this August House.
এর ফলে আমাদের আয়কর বাবদ আদায় কমে যাবে। এই বলে আমি আমার বাজেট পার্লামেন্টে পেশ করছি।
Item number 2, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table the following statements under Section 3(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003, medium-term fiscal policy cum fiscal policy strategy statement and macroeconomic framework statement.
Item number 3, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to move for leave to introduce the Finance Bill 2025.
फाइनेंस बिल अभी
प्रश्न ये
पार्लियामेंट
कि
में पेश
विधेयक को
করছি
पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ। हाँ वालों के पक्ष में अनुमति प्रदान की जाती है। माननीय मंत्री जी, अब विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करें।
Sir, I introduce the bill.
थैंक यू। सभा की कार्रवाई सोमवार दिनांक 3 फरवरी 2025 को प्राप्त 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।